We reviewed one of your old videos where you talked about like pounding the carton of egg whites.
Yeah.
Dude, so funny.
Yeah, just looking at you then and now. Yeah.
How old are you now?
30.
Okay. Did you start in pharmacology or like?
No, it was just something that always interested me, and I just was always very, very intrigued by performance enhancement, optimization, anything to do with maximizing whatever you can in your life, essentially, whether it's like cognitive health or, gym performance, whatever. So yeah, just kind of a nerd.
Damn.
What did you go to school for?
Marketing.
Huh.
Totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
And useless degree, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, like, when did you start doing this full time? Like, why did you start making YouTube videos? When did it like really start working for you?
Yeah, so I've always been interested, so I sort of had like a baseline of knowledge going into the videos, so that, helped me kind of get, the ball rolling immediately, because it's not like I started from zero and then went and tried to read a bunch of studies and shit to then make the videos. It was more like I had some time on my hands, wrote some blog articles. Somebody suggested I should also make videos to go along with the blog articles. I was like, okay. So it was just kind of what I knew at the time. And then since then it's evolved like fairly significantly depending on what my interests are.
I don't want to cut you off. I just for the context of like you starting, like when you wrote those blogs, was there anyone that was like sort of like it inspired you to do it, or was it just more like a one-to-one, like I'm already writing this shit, I think I'd be comfortable saying it to camera?
Yeah, it was there were some people who sort of like paved the way in the like men's self-improvement space, and there were some guys on YouTube like Alpha M who've been there forever. And so there was sort of a blueprint a little bit. And most of the guys I knew, though, were writers, and they would write on their blogs and, write about how to dress better, how to get in shape.
Yeah.
Just anything to do with maximizing self-improvement, essentially, in men. And that's kind of where the inception of the name came, because I saw all these brands making these, catchy little gimmicky, rhymey names and stuff. I was like, what should I name my what's a good URL that's not taken yet? So I was just going through and picking stuff that was like lifting related, but also sort of lifestyle related or whatever I could find.
Yeah.
And one of the only domains on my list that sounded like decent to me, memorable, rhymed, it was that. More plates, more dates. Yeah. So even though it's kind of interesting because I don't know, like sometimes I feel a bit misaligned with it as I get older, because I actually do, am involved with certain people that I feel are very credible in the scientific community, or legitimate doctors or neuroscientists or whatever. And then here I am, like this douchey fucking more plates, more dates guy.
Yeah, dude. Well, there's Tiny Meat Gang, we're right there with you, dude.
Yeah.
We feel your pain.
Yeah. So there's sometimes I feel there may be a barrier to entry a little bit. Before it's like, oh, I'm dealing with
this guy a pickup artist?
Yeah. So, but it's hard because since then you've built your entire brand on this name. So it's like, it's hard to go back from that.
Yeah.
But it really does roll off the tongue. More plates, more dates.
Yeah. So if I go to something else, then I don't know. I don't even know what that would look like, trying to get back the steam.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I think all you can do is what we've done. Oh yeah, you want to come on the MPMD podcast?
Yeah, the TMG podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. The MD kind of.
Yeah.
You can kind of trick people with that.
That's what people have suggested, but I don't want to be that misleading.
No, of course not. No.
Yeah.
No, I just mean in conversation.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I've considered that though, but then it sucks because then that like all the handles on the social media platforms, it's like who's gonna take the more plates, more dates, and what are they gonna do with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot to think about. And then I don't know, trying to imagine yourself as like a 45-year-old who's still Tiny Meat Gang or more plates, more dates. I don't know.
Hey, Cody's already there, so he's doing just fine.
But then I think about guys like PewDiePie. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that sounds objectively relatively silly to me.
Yeah.
And there's other names that are kind of, out there.
I think this is going to be totally normal in 10 years. Like we're all going to have like weird pseudonyms that we
it's like people
to.
with their gamer tags or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what's like Moist Critical, for example.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No one really says anything about it. To me, that's his
I mean, Charlie, and the thing with Charlie is I feel like it's not even super consistent. Like some people know him as like Penguin Zero, and other people know him as Moist Critical.
Yeah.
It's like that part's kind of interesting too. So yeah, I don't think you have to change it, but I feel you on getting a little bit older and where it started.
Do you guys feel that at all, or are you just saying it to make me feel better?
No. We genuinely like.
Okay.
Anytime like I don't know. People will refer to it as Tiny Meat Gang, and we will actively go, can we just go TMG?
I mean, I think that first, like, it got really noticeable, I guess, when A, we signed the record deal, and B, we were like touring a lot, because then we started just being in the room a lot with industry people.
Yeah.
And so we're like in the room at this record label, this like really established, classic record label, and they're like, Tiny Meat Gang, welcome. And it's like, welcome Tiny Meat Gang on the wall.
They're just saying it over and
like,
over, and we're like, God
and
damn
all
it.
these, people that work there that don't know us are like, hey, who the fuck are these guys? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like fine, because we're comedy guys. So
and I guess there's like a slight barrier to entry already when you're getting into the comedy space if you're kind of a YouTuber, probably, I imagine. And
definitely.
then dealing with the extra layer of, and they have this, silliness around the.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I mean, even when I go perform at clubs, I think the staff, like, they kind of like read the background, and they'll read like Tiny Meat, and I can just tell when I get in there, they're like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then it's typically by the end of the weekend, they're like, oh, okay, like you actually care about stand up. But yeah, there's like that initial.
Yeah, you feel like you have to overcome it a little bit and do extra good
A little
to
bit, yeah.
win them over, sort of thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've definitely now we just try to say TMG, and even like the audience, like it's like a fun bit now. Like I think like during like the last shows of our tour, we were like, okay, when we all understand that we're gonna have to like all lie together, like we're all gonna have to pretend at one day TMG means like the media guys or something. Yeah, us and the audience. So yeah.
So would you say your niche is self-improvement still? Because I mean, it's not really even a niche anymore. It's like your channel's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And you talk about shit that like is super interesting, but it all kind of falls in the same vein of like drugs, cosmetic surgery, and then like working out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's all like some of the stuff that pops off is related to those things, but it's if I want to make a topic about business, I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we do talk about pharmacology and blood work and optimization, things of that nature, but it's more so just what I'm interested in, and sometimes it'll vary. Sometimes it's popular requests, and it kind of just depends.
Yeah.
Is that cool? Like, is it a little surreal that you can make a living that way? Like, I just feel like for someone like you and someone like us too, it's like we just start making these videos not thinking anything's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, you're like, holy fuck, I'm on Joe Rogan all of a sudden. Like, what the fuck? Not that we've been there, but,
Oh, you're fucking there. Like, objectively, just,
Yeah, we're
same height.
yeah, no.
Yeah, man, like I'm sure you share a similar sentiment to me on it's when you try and in the moment it's really hard to actually ground yourself and appreciate it for what it is, but when you zoom out and look at it, it's very much holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to actually center yourself and be able to evaluate it in that way, because you have this new baseline, I don't know, what you're used to, and your brain very much gets acclimated to this kind of like baseline of what you're used to as far as, video performance or subscriber count or whatever. It's really hard to just look at shit and be like, wow, millions of people follow or hundreds of thousands of people watch this thing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you get desensitized to the performance so quickly, and then I feel when you hit those strides on YouTube where the performance is really good and you're like, okay, this is normal. And then when you dip back down, it feels like, oh my God, everything's fucking cratering.
Like I can imagine for you guys, it's probably like, I can sort of imagine, but not quite the desensitization to if you get under like 1 million views on a reaction video or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure for you guys, you're probably like, fuck.
I personally used to get that way. Now I'm just like, it's whatever. I think, I think things are so different now. People consume media in so many different places. It's not how it was 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely still a real thing. Like that, we still care about the performance, no matter what. I think that's inevitable.
But I think that's why people are drawn to you and like your channel, is that like, you're still filming on the same background.
Yeah, dude.
Like, even though you're getting all this attention, especially with the Liver King thing, like you're breaking these huge ass stories, it kind of just still feels like you're dedicated to the same things that you were in the beginning. Just like, trying to be as informative as you can, trying to be as like, I don't know. It's something really appealing about that, you know?
I've debated doing the whole upgrading as much as I can, getting higher production value, and then sometimes when I zoom out, I'm like, you know, do I lose my relatability a little bit, or I don't know. It's tough to say and predict.
Yeah.
That's why we've just kind of kept it low key.
Yeah, we just kept it kind of.
It's got this shitty spaceship thing.
Yeah.
Just a homey sort of spaceship vibe.
Just keep it regular.
Yeah.
You know? No, dude, I think if you upgraded, I think your point of motivation is so concrete that I honestly think you could do what you do in any space. I think it's largely probably going to be the same because you're still coming from a place of, you know, because you've experienced high performance, you've experienced great success, and it's not affecting your approach. Like, you're still pretty dedicated to, like, okay, what do I care about? And, like, how can I genuinely, like, tackle a topic? And so I think, yeah, you know, whenever you feel like it's right, I would say do it. Because the one thing I will say is when you upgrade, it does give you, it kind of like enhances your creativity a little bit, where you're like, oh, maybe if I had this bigger space, I could do segments like this. And then I could, you know, whatever. It can evolve. It can just enable you to do what you like to do in a bigger way. And sometimes that is great. So